We're going to continue working on the Nintendo Switch motherboard that we worked on yesterday and deemed a no fix because of a short circuit on the EMMC chip. If you watched yesterday's video, we went over this board. That chip, the M92 chip, was missing. We restored 2 traces. We cleared a bridge on back of the board. And let me just quickly go over the board in case you did not watch yesterday's video, which I highly recommend that you go and watch. We received this board with a missing M92 chip, and those caps on top were all mangled. Were all one piece. We restored 2 traces. You can see the wire here, and you can see the wire here. We cleared a bridge from the back here. And we went to power on the board. The customer only mailed the motherboard and not the whole console, so we plugged in the charging cable, and our charging station was reading 12 volts at 0.6 amps. Now, the charging station that we use, it should switch. A good working Nintendo motherboard should switch from 12 volts to 9 volts. But the station did not switch. So we know the board has an issue. So what I did then was I started to inspect for a short circuit in well-known areas that fail. We inspected for a short here, for a short here, a short here. And as soon as I inspected for a short here, we got a short. I told you that a short circuit here, based on my experience working on those boards, is likely a problem with the P13 chip on back of the board. I removed the P13 chip and we still have a short. We went back one step. Since that pad connects directly with the M92 chip, I removed the M92 chip and we still have a short circuit. I do not know where that trace connects to. So what I did was I injected voltage right here or right here. And guess what got hot? It was the EMMC chip, this one here. That's the storage for the console. Everything, the operating system, whatever is stored on the console is on that chip. Without that chip, it's game over. Can we get another module like this one and hook it up here and deem it a fix? No, because this chip is married to the CPU. We cannot just get another module from another console. Otherwise, I have a lot of them. I can simply just switch that module here and we're done. We deem it a fix. But no. This module, once you have a short circuit on this one here, it's game over. The customer who sent this motherboard, because I see a lot of comments, is it really worth it fixing that console? People do not understand. In this business that we are in, data is more important than the fix. The customer has data on this console. He would pay a lot of money to get this board fixed. We had that lady that came in. I mentioned that lady in one of the videos a while back. She came in and she said, my son has 20,000 hours on this console, on this Nintendo Switch, and he does not want to lose his progress. We want it fixed. We sent it to Nintendo and they said it cannot be fixed. The console or the game, the Switch, it fell in the tub. 20,000 hours. How old is the kid? I do not know how old that kid is, but if you divide 20,000 hours by 8 hours a day, how much is that? What is the kid doing? Playing games all day? So she said I would pay up to $1,200 to get that board fixed. That's how important that console was to that lady or to her son. I took it in and I was not able to fix it. It was a disaster. 10 times more than what we saw here. Everything was corroded. Everything was shorting out. Everything. It was a no fix. But people pay to fix those boards because data is important. Just like a person would pay $2,000 to recover data off a hard drive. The reason it costs a lot of money to recover data from hard drives is because the equipment used to recover data from an SSD drive or a hard drive are like $30,000, $40,000. You invest buying those tools for $30,000, $40,000, not so you can charge $50 and $100 to recover data. But people wonder why data recovery is expensive. So I was going over the comments for this board that we deemed a no fix, and I came across this user here. He wrote, I had this issue before. It's one of the caps on the EMMC PCB. And then he wrote another comment. And somebody else wrote, it very well could be the chip, but a blown cap next to the chip could definitely cause the chip to get hot. And then we have another user, a scientist, who wrote, can't see shit on that thermal camera. He's using one of those 24x24 Chinese $20 one. That's the problem with keyboard warriors. He automatically assumed I'm using a $20 Chinese thermal camera. I have a FLIR E60 camera. You can add 2 zeros to the $20 if you want to know how much the FLIR E60 costs. You can look it up online. They do not make that camera anymore. I bought it in 2014 and it's 240 by 320. The thing is, when I'm inspecting a board, I'm usually holding the thermal camera with my hand. My hand is shaking, wobbling. I cannot use the standard tripod mount. I went over this camera in the past and I mentioned how FLIR do not like to make a standard mount so we can hook this up to a tripod. So what I do is I hold the camera with my hand. There's also a lens that we can focus. A lot of times I do not micro adjust that lens. The image looks blurry, but it doesn't matter. I know exactly where the heat is coming from. I do not have to be precise and I do not have to explain to you what camera I'm using. The camera used to be $7,000-$8,000, but now if you want to go and buy one, it's probably in the thousands. But if I knew about the 260B UNI-T thermal camera, which is 256 by 192, at that time I would have bought this one because it's a lot cheaper. It has a very good resolution and it's only $398. If you compare the price on Amazon, Amazon is selling the camera for $470. We did not raise our prices even though we are paying more for the camera now. Can you buy the camera for cheaper from China? Of course. If you buy it from China, it's going to be cheaper, but we have to pay taxes, we have to pay tariffs, we have to pay credit card fees, we have to pay the overhead, we have to pay the person who packages the product, and we still have to make profit, and we give you support. If you go and buy this camera from China, even if it's $50 less, $70 less, and you have an issue with the camera, you lose. Okay? You pay a little bit more, you buy it from the US. If you have any issues, you can always come back to us. We provide that support. We charge more money than China, but we provide that support. Now, going back to this, ignoring this scientist, he can drink his milk and go to sleep. Let's focus on this guy here. One of the caps on the EMMC PCB. Now, there's a saying that goes, ask a person who tried it rather than ask the expert. That person already went through it. He knows what solved his issue, so we can listen to that person. I did mention in yesterday's video, I never had an issue where we had a short circuit on the EMMC chip. But the person said to check the caps on the board. So I was looking, do we have any caps on the board? Well, let me flip the board. Maybe we have caps on the back. And guess what? We do have caps on the back. Now, I removed this cap. I checked for a short. We still have a short circuit. I went a bit down. I removed this cap. I switched the cap from here to here. The cap is only connecting from one leg now. It's not making a full connection. And guess what? The short is gone. After removing the cap, the short was gone. Are you kidding me? That person was right. Let me show you another donor board. Let me go over this donor board quick. And what we're going to do is put meter in diode mode. And we're going to check from here to here. What do we read? 0.523. If we check to ground and we check the side, we have 0.6. So we have 0.6 or 0.55 voltage drop checking from the side. And we have 0.52 checking from the side. Now I remove this component and the short is gone. Let's go back to the customer's board. If we check this component from both sides, look at this. The component is shorting out. Now if I measure here, look at this. We have 0.54. So the problem is this cap. Wow. So we're gonna replace the cap, and we're gonna put this cap back here because I shifted the cap from here to here. And then we're gonna solder the M92 chip that we removed yesterday, the P13 chip, and one of the caps next to the M92 chip. Again, if you did not watch yesterday's video, you can go ahead and watch it. A lot of useful information and a lot of talking bad about the customer. What can you do? Nothing personal, of course. Why do you bash your customers when they are sending you business? You're still too young to understand. This is entertainment. This is a channel that people watch and enjoy. It's not about bashing the customer. I have nothing personal with the customer. I do not know who that customer is. If you say something bad about somebody you do not know, why does it matter? Screw John. Who's John? Which John? How does he look like? I don't know. Does it matter? No. If you notice one thing about this channel, it's always clean. I do not use bad language. I do not use foul language. I do not use bad language in real life. Not with friends, not with family, not with myself, not with anybody. You gain respect not by using foul language and looking tough. You gain respect by having a clean tongue. Just like a kid who thinks if he smokes, he's gonna look like a man. You do not need cigarettes to look tough. And then they switch that cigarette between fingers and they blow that smoke upwards and sideways. You're still a kid. You're not a man. I know a lot of you smoke, but those are your lungs. We were created with clean lungs, and you want to make them black. You want to put all the garbage in your lungs. It's up to you. But my grandpa lived to 120 years. He's been a smoker all his life. Yeah, it doesn't mean that smoking is good. We're not all the same. Every human being is different. Me personally, I never smoked in my life. I never drank alcohol in my life. It's against my religion anyway. Nothing good comes from drinking alcohol or smoking. Absolutely nothing good. Every day you hear about accidents. Somebody got killed by a drunk driver. We're gonna have to restore this guy here. Let's grab this cap. You can buy all those chips from our site, the M92 chip, the BQ chip, the P13 chip, LCD connectors, SD card connectors. We have a lot of parts for Nintendo Switches. It's something that we do every day. and we make it easy for you. If you're in the same type of business, you can purchase all those parts directly from our site, as well as all the tools. Everything from soldering station, hot air station, thermal camera, tweezers, Amtech Flux. Everything is on our site, including this amazing NorthridgeFix microscope, articulating arm. And I'm out of the P13 chip. Let me grab some from inside. Just a minute. All right, so we soldered back the M92 chip, P13 chip, the capacitor. We removed the short from the EMMC module, and all we have to do is plug in a battery and see if this board will work or not. Hello, how are you? Just a minute.
I saw your YouTube, man.
Yeah, how are you doing?
I'm good. I came all the way from San Francisco.
No way.
Yeah, you're hard to get. Oh my God, your phone.
How far is it? 7 hours? 8 hours?
About 6.
6 hours.
Yeah.
All right, all right.
Just gonna have you. Is it gonna be done by Monday?
It depends. Do you have expedited?
Yeah.
Okay. Expedited is usually 1 to 8 days. We try to get to it as soon as possible. You see all this pile that we have in the back? All this we have to
So I'm
finish.
leaving back on Monday.
Okay, there's no guarantee. Today is what? Today is Friday.
Or you can mail it.
Saturday, Sunday, we're not gonna work on it.
No.
So we're gonna, Monday is it a holiday?
Yeah.
President Day. So you can expect within 8 days for us to work on it and ship it back to you.
Yeah.
Let me see. Let me read your description. And I'm gonna add to that note, customer drove from San Francisco. Please super expedite. You came all that way, so I'm gonna super expedite it for you.
Thank you so much.
No problem. So the customer just dropped in a Gigabyte 4090 that is no longer detected. Hopefully we can fix it for the customer. And now let's go ahead and try this board. I'm gonna plug in a battery and monitor the charging station to see if voltage will switch from 12 volts to 9 volts as per this charging station. It may be different for you, but I know exactly if this board is gonna work or not based on the reading that I see on the station. I'm used to it, and I fix Nintendo motherboards all day. Plug in the cable. Same exact thing, 12 volts, 0.6 amps. So nothing changed. What does that tell me? It's likely a CPU related issue. A short on the EMMC chip could affect the CPU. The chip is married to the CPU. It has direct communication with the CPU. And right now there's nothing that we did not change on this board. Let me measure for a short circuit again. Quick. I really had high hopes for this motherboard, and that's why I spent the time on it. Somebody wrote in the comments on the last video, I'm surprised that you spent more than 5 minutes on this board. The thing is, if I see a light at the end of the tunnel, I will spend time on it. Otherwise, why waste time? Sometimes in back of my head, I know what the problem is. It's something that cannot be fixed, or it's something that's not practical to fix, and I stop working on it. But this one, I saw light at the end of the tunnel. 4090? Oh, The customer that just came in. The customer that just came in. Gigabyte 4090. He drove from San Francisco to bring this over. And look at this card. Missing core and missing memory chips. Are you kidding me? No way. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. The customer said the card was working and suddenly it stopped working. That's what the customer said. So the switch is still charging at 12 volts, 0.6 amps. Let me measure for a short circuit. I lost my line of thought. This is the third card we got this week with missing memory and core. Let's measure for a short, no short. No short. No short. We do not have a short anywhere. Let me go to the BQ chip one more time. We already measured it last time. Let me go to the P13 chip on the back. And we do not have a short. One last thing I want to do is try another battery. The same reading we got before, 12 volts, 0.6 amps. That's not good. I should have said no to this board from the time it came in. From when I saw that Hiroshima on the board. But that's okay. We did 2 videos on this board. A lot of useful information. So at the end of the day, it's a win-win. We're gonna stop right here. I gave this console more than enough time in hopes that we could fix it for the customer. One thing we learned was a short on the EMMC chip could be a shorted capacitor, but in our case, we removed the short, we replaced the capacitor, but that did not solve the problem. Since the chip, the EMMC chip, is directly linked with the CPU, it's married to the CPU, it's very likely that our CPU got hit. If somebody wants to spend more time on this board, by all means, I did what I could within the time allocated for this board. I actually gave it more time than what I should have, but I saw light at the end of the tunnel. Anyway, we're gonna end the video right here. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you think. Leave it down in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll do something else in the next video.